You probably know about salt. It's the white stuff that people sprinkle on their food. Salt makes food taste different, often better. Many of us use it every day when we eat our meals. You might find it in a shaker on your kitchen table or in little packets at restaurants. This common salt is something we see and use very often. It seems like a simple thing, but it has a big story. It's more than just a food topping, it's a special kind of rock. The salt we use for food is a mineral. Its scientific name is sodium chloride. Minerals are natural things found in the earth. They are not made by people. Sodium chloride is made of two tiny parts called sodium and chlorine. These parts are joined together to make salt crystals. If you look at salt very closely, maybe with a magnifying glass, you can sometimes see the tiny square shapes of these crystals. These crystals are what gives salt its crunchy feel before it dissolves in water or on your tongue. Salt is found in many places in nature, not just in salt shakers. Large amounts of salt are found in the ground. Sometimes it is in big layers under the earth, like a hidden treasure. These are called salt deposits. People can dig mines to get this salt out. Salt can also be found dissolved in water, especially in the big oceans. Even some lakes can be very salty. Rocks on the land also have tiny bits of salt in them, locked away inside. So salt is a natural mineral that comes from the earth. It is not just the white stuff for our food. It is found deep underground and also spread throughout the world in rocks. Even the ground beneath your feet might have tiny amounts of salt in it. This salt has been part of our planet for a very, very long time. Understanding where salt comes from is the first step to understanding why the great big ocean is so full of it, making it a salty home for many creatures. Rain plays a very important part in moving salt around our planet. When it rains, water falls from the clouds onto the land. This rainwater is fresh. It doesn't have much salt in it when it first falls. The rain falls on mountains, hills, fields, and even on city streets. As this rainwater flows over the land, it touches many different things. It especially runs over rocks and soil. These rocks, as we learned, contain small amounts of different minerals, including salt. As the rainwater washes over the rocks, something amazing happens. The water is a good solvent, which means it can dissolve things. Tiny bits of the minerals from the rocks, including the salts, get dissolved into the water. It's kind of like when you put sugar in tea. The sugar disappears into the water. The same thing happens with salt from the rocks. The rainwater picks up these tiny, invisible pieces of salt. It's a very slow process, happening bit by bit over many years, but it constantly adds salt to the water. This water, now carrying a little bit of dissolved salt, doesn't stay in one place. It starts to flow downhill. Small trickles of water join together to form little streams. These streams then flow into bigger streams, and eventually they join to become rivers. Think of it like many small paths leading to a big highway. All these rivers are collecting water from the land, and with that water, they're collecting the dissolved salts that came from the rocks. The rivers are like salt carriers on a mission. These rivers travel across the land, sometimes for very short distances, and sometimes for hundreds or even thousands of miles. Their final destination is often a much larger body of water, like a lake or, most importantly, the ocean. So, all these rivers around the world are slowly but surely carrying their small loads of dissolved salts and pouring them into the sea. This has been happening for an incredibly long time, for millions and millions of years, a constant delivery of salt to the ocean. You might wonder why rivers and lakes are not as salty as the ocean. Rivers do carry salt, but the amount of salt in river water is usually very small. You can't taste it. The water in most rivers and lakes is called fresh water. This is because the water in rivers is always moving. It picks up a little salt and then delivers it to the ocean. The ocean, however, is a huge basin, like a giant bowl that collects all this water and salt from countless rivers over immense periods. The sun plays a very important role in making the ocean salty. The sun shines down on the surface of the ocean and warms the water. When water gets warm enough, it changes into a gas called water vapor. This process is called evaporation. It's like when a puddle dries up on a hot day. The water goes into the air. But here's the important part. When the ocean water evaporates, only the pure water turns into vapor and rises into the air to form clouds. The salt gets left behind. Imagine you have a bowl of salty water and you leave it in the sun. Over time, the water will disappear, but a layer of salt will be left at the bottom of the bowl. The ocean works in a similar way, but on a much, much bigger scale. For millions of years, rivers have been adding small amounts of salt, and the sun has been evaporating fresh water. This means the concentration of salt in the ocean has been slowly increasing over all that time. It's a continuous cycle of salt arriving and fresh water leaving. There are other ways salt gets into the ocean too. Underneath the ocean, on the seafloor, there are openings called hydrothermal vents. These are like underwater hot springs. Hot, mineral-rich water gushes out from these vents, and this water also contains dissolved salts and other minerals from deep within the earth. Underwater volcanoes can also erupt and release minerals, including salts, directly into the ocean water. These processes add even more salt to the ocean, contributing to its overall saltiness. Once the salt gets into the ocean, it tends to stay there for a very long time. While water evaporates from the ocean surface, the salt does not. It remains dissolved in the seawater. There are not many natural processes that remove large amounts of salt from the ocean. Some salt can be removed when sea spray deposits it on land, or when parts of the ocean get cut off and dry up, forming salt flats. But these are small amounts compared to what stays in the vast ocean waters. Not all parts of the ocean are equally salty, and some seas are much saltier than others. For example, the Dead Sea, which is actually a very salty lake, is one of the saltiest bodies of water on Earth. It is so salty that people can float in it very easily without even trying. This is because the water is very dense due to all the dissolved salt. In contrast, areas where large rivers flow into the ocean or where there is a lot of rainfall might have slightly less salty water near the surface. Salt is very important for living things, including animals and even us humans. Our bodies need a certain amount of salt to work properly. Salt helps our nerves send signals and our muscles to contract. Many animals get the salt they need from their food or by drinking water. Ocean animals, of course, are surrounded by salty water all the time. They have special ways to live in this salty environment, ways to manage the amount of salt in their bodies so they stay healthy and strong. The ocean's saltiness is a key part of what makes it a unique and vibrant habitat. Fish, whales, dolphins, crabs, and tiny plankton are all adapted to life in salt water. Some ocean animals can drink seawater and get rid of the extra salt through special glands. Others have bodies that can handle the salt around them. The salty ocean is a vast and ancient world, full of amazing creatures that call this salty water their home, a testament to life's ability to thrive in diverse conditions.